We don't know what would have happened had we walked out when these brothers was helping themselves to the tires of my car. And not that anything would have happened to them, but something could have happened to us. Because it's viciousness in the streets in America. They have turned us on ourselves. And these brothers who would take the life of a precious baby don't care nothing about taking the life of another man or another woman. So I'm indeed thankful to God that we did not walk out during that time. Not that we don't know how to defend ourselves, but we know that sometimes God spare you from difficulty. We can get some more tires. That's nothing but rubber and chrome. But what God has given us to help ourselves, we don't want to give that to no one cheaply at this particular point in time. So I'm indeed thankful to Almighty God for you. And I know the hour is late, it's raining, and you've been here for quite some time. And I'm only planning to speak for about 2 hours. So just bear with us. Actually, we were in a meeting trying to see how we could help us and help a sister in business and pull some things together, and brothers and myself, and I kept saying to them, I got to get back to the house because I haven't finished up my presentation, so I need to get back to the house. And we just kept meeting, and then finally I got ready to go back to the house and couldn't get back to the house. So, but fortunately, there are some Million Man marchers. One of them is a brother named Marvin Flowers on 7 Mile. He owns a tire facility. He sells tires. And I got on the phone, the line was busy, I called my wife, I said, you got to go by Marvin. She was calling, I was calling. Marvin said, don't worry, just come on. I had the tires ready for you. So he got the tires ready. We went and got the tires and spent the last hour and a half in the rain getting the tires on, and then had to go home, give him a speech, get dressed, and get here. So we're here, and we thank Almighty God. Ask permission for my elders to speak. Thank you. I give honor and praise to our ancestors, whose all names I know have been called, those names that have been called and those names who have not been called. We are here because of them. I know I am here because of them. Our mayor said he don't wear them and our struggle on his sleeve. I wear them on my sleeve, in my heart, on my back, and I stand on their shoulders. I know that we would be nothing without those who laid down their lives for us. We would be nothing without the Honorable Marcus Garvey, without Harriet Tubman and Sojourner Truth and Queen Mother Moore, and so many others. We would be nothing without them. I would know no history, no struggle. I would not be able to stand up in the strength that I have if they had not inspired some of these elders in this room who took me as a little boy, running around with a gangster brim hat on and a maxi coat, thought I was some kind of gangster, didn't know that we had been ganked up by the real OG, the real gangster in this, and put a can in my hand and said, go out and raise some money for your people, for your struggle, for African Liberation Day. So I know exactly who I am, and I can never forget that no matter where I am and whose company I am here. I have no apologies for who I am and who I represent and who the people are. I come with no apologies for that. When I saw those people down there at the city council, I said, glory be to God. Because I know that my Hispanic brothers and Chicano and Mexicano and Arab brothers and sisters, I know that it was coming to say, thank you, black folks. You have been so good to us. Thank you, black folks, for you have opened up your hearts, your wallets, your purse to us. Thank you, black folks. We know if there was something in it, we know that it was on your head and not on your heart, because you have never done anything to offend us, but yet we have done everything to offend you. When you come in our store, we sell you rotten meat and spoiled milk. roaches and rats running over you, and you have never been insulted. You just kept giving us your money. I knew they were coming to say, thank you, black folk. You sent our babies to school, to college. When we came and we got off the boat, we were raggedy and outdoors and we didn't have anything. And black folks, you picked us up and gave us your $11 billion. I just want to say thank you, black folks, for helping us and making us feel good about ourselves when we came from Tokap, from Iraq, and we didn't have anything. And you gave us everything. You came in our stores and bought our wine and our liquor and acted a fool, and we locked you up and beat you up and shot you and killed you, and you didn't ask us for no apology. Thank you, black folks. I knew that's what they were coming to do. I knew they were coming to drop to their knees and thank black folks for all of the grocery stores that we have opened, that they have opened up in our community. I knew they were coming to say that. I knew they were not coming to ask us for an apology, to ask us to say that they were offended by us coming to do for ourselves. How dare you? How dare you be offended in a black city?
I know that's right.
When black folks have raised you and taken care of you. When for over 10 years, Michael George, the so-called godfather of the Chaldeans, who was selling milk, and he was milking us every day. He set up a small business investment company, and he milked the federal government. They knew what they were doing because they gave him and Jack Nader the contract for 10 years. You thought that they were coming here rich. You said, oh, those Arabs got money. Look at them. They opening up liquor stores and wine stores all over the place. They got some of that Arab money. These were poor Arabs. They didn't have nothing. The federal government gave them the SBA money. And for 10 years, they set themselves up. And the only thing we could do is to stand outside waiting for them to open so we could get our next wine, our next beer, and a little chicken that they cook. You know you're in trouble when you got to buy your chicken, your fried chicken from an Arab store or a gas station. Something wrong with us and our behavior, inappropriate behavior. But for 10 years, and they had money from the bank because they bought a bank. Well, they bought the Bank of the Commonwealth. So they gave themselves loans. They gave themselves loans. And some of them had loans. And you were only supposed to get this money if you could not qualify for a bank loan. They had the bank loan and the government loan. But all of that money was set aside for you. In 1958, John Conyers and Charlie Regal and others had set that money up for small businesses. But for 10 years, they gave it to themselves. And what does it say in the article? This is the African Town folder that I have here. All of this information and article on African Town. They're so concerned about us. But for 10 years, they got this money. And they said, well, what about, they said, well, no black folks called us. We didn't get no calls from black folks. Black folks didn't know you had the money. We didn't know the money was available. We didn't know this was public money being used for private interests. But now, black folks in the city of Detroit, the Mecca of the United States, if not here, where? Black folks in the city of Detroit come and say, look, we're the taxpayers here. What do you mean public money? This is our money. Black folks who go to the casinos, they're at the casinos now.
Yes, they are.
The casinos will make $1 billion before the end of the year. The money that the casinos are giving back is your money.
That's
money
right.
that you lost in the casino. They're not giving all of it back. They're only giving a little bit of it back. They were supposed to give more of it back, but the mayor said, we don't need all of that. We don't need $75 million. You give us 30, we'll put 10 with it. Why should we be putting 10 with it? It's already ours. You lost it already.
That's a shame.
And so when the sister come and say, well, okay, and some folks have forgot that money was there. Sister Joanne works overtime, so she looked up and she found the money. She found the money. said, we got some money here. Mayor said, that's illegal. I understand he was here last night meeting with the brothers. I'll get that story later.
Lord have mercy.
He said, that's illegal. We can't use that money. Here's an ex-slave, a descendant of ex-slaves, talking about it's illegal to use the capital of America. The only reason America got capital is because your ancestors were slaves. What do you mean it was illegal? We wouldn't be here today if we didn't do something illegal. Harriet Tubman was illegal. She had 2 45s, one on each side. Huh? She was illegal. Martin Luther King went to jail in Birmingham. It was illegal to stand up as a black man and a woman to fight for your rights in America. Huh? What we look like talking about illegal? We were outlaws. When you ran away from the slave plantation, you were an outlaw. So take me to court. Take me to court for using my money to do something about myself and for myself. Take me to court. They want an apology. I'm supposed to be talking about economic development. And that's what I'm talking about. It was a great day on the mall. I was there. You were there. The brothers was there. It was a great day. Everywhere we looked, just a sea of black men. Far as the eyes could see. When you turn around to behind you, nothing but nappy-headed black men. A few cops here and there, but just black men. When you look to the left, black men. To the right, black men in front of you. Black men everywhere, all over. No shooting. No cutting, no fussing, no raping, no robbing. Black men, excuse me, brother, you need some help, brother? Need some eat, brother? Everybody help. All kind of men story. Car broke down. I needed them brothers today. Car broke down. Somebody had a flat. The brothers got out, lift the car up, changed the flat and set it back down. That was the kind of spirit of the Million Man March. What was that spirit? It was the Spirit of God. It was the spirit of our ancestors coming together. The Honorable Marcus Garvey said, look for me in the whirlwind. That was the whirlwind. Garvey was all over the place, the red, black, and green. I was looking at the CNN recap of the Million Man March today, getting ready for this. And you saw the red, black, and green just waving. Of course, Detroit had the largest red, black, and green flag there. Just waving. And so that spirit, it was the spirit of unity, umoja, something that we hadn't seen in our lifetime in America because they had divided us. They had taken us away from ourselves. They had broken the black man down. You heard me tell this story before. When they took us from our mother, from the bosom of our mother, from the womb of Mother Africa, they took us as black men. They brought us over here and they said, look, you're too strong. You're Mandingo, you're Kikuyu, you're Hausa, you're Zulu, you're too strong. We got to make you weak. We got to beat you up. So they tried to season us in the West Indies. Just like you season that meat. They took the hammer out and they beat the brother up. Beat him up to try to season him to taste. He came strong. They wanted to tenderize him. We got some tender brothers still around here. Nevertheless, they want to tenderize him. Beat him up. Make him less than a man. You couldn't be a man. You couldn't defend your woman. You couldn't raise your children. You couldn't talk back. And if you step too far, you had to apologize. Excuse me, Master. I didn't mean to breathe today, Master. I didn't mean to get up today, Master. I didn't mean to be in existence today, so you had to apologize for your mere existence. You had no rights. You were illegal. If you tried to marry a black woman, if you tried to raise your children, that was illegal. Because you had no God-given rights that they were bound to respect. So you had all of those parishes over there. St. Vincent, St. Croix, St. this and St. the other. Wasn't nothing saintly about them.
That's right.
Nothing but parish of hell. I'm sorry about your religion, but that was a religion that was not based on God. When the Ptolemy de la Casa, who in his compassion for the Native American people, wrote the Pope and said, maybe we can enslave black folks.
Yeah.
And they made a papyrus bull, and that's what it was. And they sanctioned the enslavement of black people and said we had no soul, so therefore it was all right to enslave us, because without a soul you can't get into heaven. Huh? So the Pope apologized, but he didn't give up none of the wealth of the Catholic Church, none of the reparations that made the church rich. The church is rich because of the backs of black people, because of the oppression and exploitation of black people. And so as a result of that, he knew in his heart before he leave here, he needed to give that apology. But come up with the booty. Come up with the wealth of Africa that has been stolen. Give us the black Madonna that's down there in the basement that you bow down and kiss every day. Huh? Give that back to us, because it's ours. It belongs to us. I know I'm coming to economic development here. It was a beautiful day. Many promises was made. Many promises was made. There was great hope and great fear. You know, America was on alert that day. The government was on alert that day. The United States Army was on alert that day. They had them not far away. I mean, you can't blame them. Over 1 million black men had come to Washington, D.C., the seat of power of the world. These are descendants of black men that you have kept your foot on. These are the descendants of black men that you have hung, tarred and feathered, and raped and robbed and stole from them their culture, their consciousness, and now they come to the seat of power. They didn't know what was going to happen. So they had the guns at the ready position. You got to give respect. We don't always agree, but you got to give respect and honor to the leadership of Minister Louis Farrakhan. You got to give it to him. Because had he given the wrong message and the wrong charge, there could have been blood in the street that day. And our brothers came with open arms and open hearts. But the enemy's arms was not open, and his heart was not open. He was ready to kill some black men that day because of the fear. There was great fear there. But we were there on another mission. We were on another mission that is still coming to fruition. Huh? See, sometimes great things happen and you don't see the result of it until years and years and years later. Brothers came back. They pulled themselves up. Some brothers began to pay their child support. Brothers began to vote. Brothers opened up businesses. Brothers dropped to their knees and apologized and atoned for certain things that they had done to their families and their community. They began to work with their babies. This was a great thing. Right here, they've been meeting from day one for 9 years. Right here in this room, we give them a hand. Million Man March. We have to rekindle the spirit of the Million Man March. That unity is still needed today because we're not as unified as we need to be. See, only through struggle do you get real unity. Not conversational unity, but operational unity. There were a lot of people at the Million Man March. And everybody at the Million Man March was not your friend. I'm sorry. There were people there on assignment. The FBI was at the Million Man March. They had on a dashiki, a button, a t-shirt that said, "Long live the spirit of the Million Man March." They had on red, black, and green. Dennis Archer was at the Million Man March. Mayor Kwame Kilpatrick is at the Million Man March.